What truly makes your skin crawl? Is it, the monster in the closet, something obvious you can fight? Or is it something else? More invisible, maybe. Systemic. Something that just creeps in, no face, no clear motive. Today, we're plunging right into the chilling world of the 2012 horror anime, Another. You probably know it, slow burn mystery, really graphic horror scenes, and just the psychological dread that sticks with you. A lot of people compare it to stuff like Final Destination, for those really elaborate, kind of disturbingly creative death scenes.
Yeah, those comparisons definitely grab onto the surface level shock value, which is there for sure.
But here's the thing we want to unpack. Those comparisons, they kind of miss the deep cultural roots, what's really going on underneath. We're not just here for the gore today. Our mission is to explore how Another isn't just a horror story. It's actually a really sophisticated adaptation, a reimagining almost, of a core figure in Japanese folklore. The onryō, the vengeful spirit.
Right. It takes that traditional idea and really twists it.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to argue that Another fundamentally changes the onryōs. It goes from this spirit-seeking personal revenge to something way more unsettling, an impersonal, systemic, almost bureaucratic phenomenon.
And understanding that shift is totally key to grasping its specific brand of horror. It reflects these very modern anxieties we have about randomness, denial, maybe even history we haven't dealt with.
So get ready. You're about to see how an ancient myth gets spun into this sharp critique of how maybe modern society struggles with death, with memory, with the past itself.
It's fascinating how it uses familiar horror tropes but builds something new, something that really resonates with, well, today's fears. It subtly flips the script on what you expect from a ghost story.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack this calamity. What is this thing everyone in the street? Another is terrified of. It's definitely not your standard haunted house ghost, is it?
Not even close. That's what makes it so unique. The calamity's origin isn't like some ancient evil or one person's burning desire for revenge. It actually started from this profound act of collective grief and denial. Back in 1972, the students in Class 3-3 at Yomiyama North Middle School, they were just devastated when this really popular kid, Misaki Yomiyama, died suddenly. So in their grief, they all just decided to pretend he was still alive.
Wait, just pretend, like collectively?
Yeah, they kept his desk there. They talk as if he was part of the conversation. They even saved him a seat at graduation. And that act, this really poignant but ultimately boundary crossing thing, that's pinpointed as the moment the class got altered, became a place that invited death. It essentially punched a hole in the boundary between the living and the dead, made it porous.
Whoa. Okay, so it wasn't an old curse waiting to happen. It was something they did, accidentally created from grief. That's a huge departure. How does that accidental origin change how you feel about the horror?
It changes everything, because instead of a villain you can hate, you have this self-perpetuating system running amok. The main feature of this whole phenomenon is that every so often during these on years, an extra person shows up in the class. They call this person the dead. Could be a student, could be a teacher, someone who died before, but they're back, resurrected, seamlessly integrated.
And they don't know.
Completely unaware. They have fabricated memories. Everything seems normal to them. And crucially, the calamity itself, it's not sentient, it's not angry. It's described as a non-sentient phenomenon, like a force of nature. Almost. Its goal isn't malice, it's just correction. It wants to get rid of the extra person to restore the natural balance.
So it's like cosmic accounting. Try and balance the books.
Kind of, yeah. What's so fascinating, like you said, is how that reframes the horror. It's not personal, it's impersonal, systemic. You're not being hunted because you wronged someone. You're just a glitch. A statistic. You might die because of a reality bug, not a vendetta.
That's genuinely chilling. Dying because of a cosmic clerical error. Does taking away the motive make it scarier somehow? Or just different?
I think scarier, in a way, because there's no reasoning with it. You can't appease a system error.
Right. And how does it work? How does this force actually kill people? Is it like a physical ghost showing up, or?
No, nothing like a traditional ghost.
Yeah.
Its power is all about warping reality.
Yeah.
Its scariest trick is this targeted amnesia. It supernaturally messes with records, class lists, photos, and most importantly, people's memories. Everyone connected to the class. So the resurrected person showing up, it feels completely normal to everyone. They just fit right in.
Okay, that's deeply unsettling.
And it gets worse. After a calamity year ends, key info about how it works, how to stop it, that gets erased too, which guarantees it'll just come back again.
It protects itself by making everyone forget. Not just the extra person, but the whole problem. That's insidious. It's like it has this programmed self-preservation instinct, even if it's not thinking.
That's a great way to put it. It operates with this kind of programmed efficiency, an algorithm of dread. And the deaths themselves, they look like freak accidents. Bizarre illnesses, suicides that come out of nowhere. They're often so improbable, so cruel and unusual, you just know it's not natural.
Like the umbrella incident.
Exactly. Or the teacher just calmly ending it in front of the class. It screams supernatural. Plus, it actively suppresses information. It messes with technology static on phones, tapes breaking right when someone's about to spill the beans.
Classic horror trope, but used so effectively here to keep the mystery going, keep them isolated. Okay, so are there rules? Is it contained?
Oh, he had strict rules, almost scientific. It's mostly tied to the town, Yomiyama, and specifically Class 3-3. But there's a kind of time-delayed effect. Like someone can get fatally messed up in Yoniyama but actually die later outside town. You see that happen?
Right, with Natao.
And trying to trick it. Renaming the class, skipping the number 3, doesn't work. The phenomenon just latches onto whatever group is equivalent to Class 3-3. It's almost like fate, predetermined.
Man, that feels hopeless. So what can the students actually do against something like that? Are there any, countermeasures?
Well, they've come up with 2 strategies, basically out of desperation.
Right.
The first is a preventative ritual. A charm, they call it. Omajinai. They pick one student to be the non-existent one. Naimono. The whole class, everyone treats this person like they just don't exist.
Ooh. Institutionalized bullying is a safety measure.
Pretty much. The idea is to create an absence to hopefully balance out the extra person. It's grim, only works about half the time. And everyone, including families, has to comply perfectly. One slip up, and it fails.
That's intense pressure. What's the other way?
The second way is more direct, more violent. It's the only certain way to stop the calamity once it's started. They found out about it from this cassette tape left behind by a student back in 1983, like an apocalyptic log.
A cassette tape. Very retro. What did it say?
It basically said, send the dead back to death. Meaning you have to figure out who the extra person is, the resurrected one, and kill them again. As soon as that second death happens, the calamity just stops instantly for that year. And all memory of that resurrected person, wiped clean from everyone's minds.
A hard reset. Brutal, but narratively clean, I guess.
Okay, so beyond these mechanics, the look and feel of the show is huge too, right? That atmosphere.
Oh, absolutely essential. The whole visual style uses this muted, desaturated palette. Lots of dark browns, grays, blacks. It casts this literal shadow over the town, Yomiyama, which makes those sudden, shocking splashes of bright red, the blood hit so much harder. They're like these constant warning signs.
And the dolls. Those creepy dolls are everywhere.
The ball-jointed dolls May's adoptive mother makes. They show up decayed, broken, falling apart, mirroring what happens to the students. May even suggests the dolls being empty tried to draw out souls. It parallels how the calamity sort of hollows out life. Even the way the characters are sometimes animated feels a bit stiff, a bit doll-like. It adds to that uncanny feeling. Yeah, it really permeates everything. It's not just jump scares, it's this constant creeping dread. It's what you don't see almost. And the sound design too.
Oh, Kawatani's score is masterful. It's not about loud bangs. It's eerie ambient sounds, unsettling piano, and really effective use of silence. Dissonant chords just hang there, like auditory omens.
So it's this whole package creating this pervasive feeling of dread, nameless systemic dread. And to really get why it works so well, we need to dig into its roots, the unrest.
Exactly. You can't fully appreciate another spin without understanding the tradition it's twisting. The onryō is, well, fundamental to Japanese folklore. It literally means grudge spirit or vengeful spirit, a very specific, very feared kind of yurei or ghost. These are souls of people who died with intense, unresolved emotions. We're talking deep rage, jealousy, hatred, powerful negative feelings, and their purpose, singular, all-consuming, fukushu, vengeance against whoever wronged them.
Okay, so very personal, very targeted, driven by injustice, essentially. I imagine there are deep cultural beliefs behind this.
Absolutely. It draws from both Shinto and Buddhist ideas. In Shinto, violent or unjust deaths can turn a soul, the tama, into an aramitama, a rough spirit, causing spiritual pollution, kegar. In Buddhism, strong earthly attachments, especially negative ones like revenge, trap the soul, preventing enlightenment or reincarnation. This belief was huge, especially back in the Heian period, like 8th to 12th centuries, particularly among the aristocracy at court. Political chaos, plagues, disasters, they'd often blame the angry spirits of powerful nobles who had been maybe exiled or disgraced.
Can you give us an example, a really famous onryō?
Sure. A big historical one is Sugawara no Mishizan. He was a 9th century scholar, super brilliant, but got exiled by political rivals, died in exile. Afterwards, a bunch of disasters hit the capital, plagues, lightning striking the palace and killing some of the guys who accused him. People were convinced it was his angry spirit.
Wow, okay. Any others? Maybe more from, like, stories?
Definitely. Oiwa, from the famous kabuki play, Tokaido Yotsuya Kaidan. Her story is classic onryō. Betrayed, disfigured, murdered by her horrible husband, Iemon. Her ghost comes back, but not for quick kill. It's prolonged psychological torture. She drives him completely mad.
Yikes. These spirits sound terrifyingly powerful. Was there anything people could do? Appease them somehow?
Yes, and this is really interesting. There was a whole religious practice called Goryu Shinkoku, basically, appeasement cults.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to exorcise these super powerful spirits, people, including the imperial court, tried to pacify their anger. No. By enshrining them, worshiping them. The idea was that by deifying a vengeful spirit, turning it into a kami, a god, its destructive power could be transformed into protective power.
So elevate your enemy almost.
Kind of. It happened with Mishizane. After all the disasters, he was officially pardoned, got his titles back posthumously, and was enshrined as Tenjin, the Shinto god of scholarship, still worshipped today. This whole practice, Goryu Shinko, shows this deep cultural understanding. You have to acknowledge and respect the power of the wrong dead. Their curse, the Tatari, could cause widespread disaster if ignored.
Okay, so connecting this back, if we look at another, again, what the students did in 72 with Misaki Yomiyama, keeping his desk, pretending he was there, it sounds almost like they were trying a form of Goryu Shinko, right? Trying to honor him, keep him integrated.
You've nailed the crucial inversion. That's exactly what makes another so clever and so chilling. On the surface, the student's act looks like folk veneration, trying to appease, trying to keep his spirit happy, keep him among them. In traditional folklore, an act like that, done respectfully, might actually bring peace, maybe even elevate the spirit. But in another's world, arguably more modern, more secular, it backfires horribly. Instead of pacifying anything, it violates some fundamental law of reality. It rips a hole and invites death.
So it critiques that modern sentimentality, or maybe our inability to just accept death's finality, turning denial into a plague.
Precisely. The very act meant to preserve memory, to show respect, ends up unleashing generations of death. It's a profound twist on how we think about remembrance and grief.
Okay, so pulling it all together, how exactly did another take this incredibly rich folklore and twist it into something, well, arguably even more unsettling for a modern audience?
It's all about the systematic divergence. Let's compare them side by side. Traditional onryō, born from personal grievance, betrayal, murder, the calamity. Born from collective denial, improper mourning.
Okay, motive.
Onryō has conscious, targeted vengeance. The calamity, impersonal, non-sentient correction. It's not angry, it's just fixing an error.
Targets.
onryō goes after the wrongdoers, maybe their families. The calamity, totally indiscriminate. Random. Any student, teacher, relative is fair game.
Nature of the entity.
onryō is a sentient, intelligent spirit. The calamity is a non-sentient phenomenon with fixed, almost mechanical rules.
And how do you stop it?
onryō needs appeasement, maybe exorcism. The calamity. You need that logical fix. Find the extra dead person and kill them again.
Wow, they really stripped away the personality and rebuilt it as a system. Why do that? What does that achieve narratively?
It makes the horror pervasive, unavoidable, illogical in human terms, and that transformation drives everything. The calamity's rules are the plot. Kuchichi, the new kid, breaks the charm unknowingly, kicks things off. Matsunaga's tape, like finding an old instruction manual, gives them the kill the extra solution. That shifts the story from pure mystery to this desperate paranoid hunt, which leads straight to that disastrous climax at the end where the social structure just collapses into violence.
Right. The hunt itself becomes the horror, and the characters, their journeys are shaped by interacting with this weird system.
Absolutely. Take Kichi Sakakibara. He comes in as this rational outsider. He has to completely ditch his worldview and accept these impossible illogical rules. And his ultimate test, it's immense moral weight, having to kill his own aunt, Reiko, once he realizes she's the extra.
Oof. Yeah, and Mei.
Mei Misaki is fascinating. She's the designated outcast, the inai mono for part of it, the ritual pariah. But her prosthetic doll's eye gives her this supernatural edge. She can see the color of death, identify the resurrected person. So she's both feared and the only real hope. Her journey is about moving out of that forced isolation, connecting with Kuchichi.
So it takes both of them, Kuchichi's logic and investigation plus Mei's intuition.
Exactly. It needs both modern reason and this kind of intuitive grasp of the supernatural rules to solve it.
Okay, themes. How does this reimagined onryō system connect to fears we have now? modern anxieties?
Well, the whole origin in refusing to accept death, the forced forgetting, the memory alteration, it works as this powerful allegory for unresolved historical trauma. Think about societal amnesia, historical revisionism around painful stuff. Another, the past literally comes back to kill the future. The cycle only breaks when the past identifying the dead person is confronted directly. It really echoes ideas like Derrida's hauntology, the ghosts of history.
That's deep. What else?
It also really exposes how fragile social bonds are. Under the calamity's pressure, the community, the class, just dissolves into paranoia, suspicion, outright murder. And that charm making someone non-existent, that's institutionalized bullying, plain and simple. It shows how easily fear makes cruelty seem normal, even necessary. That hits close to home with modern social panics, groupthink gone wrong.
Yeah, definitely. So it's really not just a spooky story, it's holding up a mirror, isn't it, to society's fears, how we cope or fail to cope?
Exactly. And by making the calamity non-sentient, it taps into this very modern fear of impersonal tragedy. The victims aren't being punished for sinning. They're just wrong place, wrong time. There's no one specific to blame, no neat moral lesson, just senseless loss.
Like random violence or incurable diseases or huge disasters, that horror of meaninglessness.
Precisely. Another brilliantly keeps core folklore ideas, the grudge, the curse, the haunted location, but totally innovates on the mechanics. The hidden extra, the memory wipes. But the key move, I think, was stripping the onryō of its personal motive, its sentience. That amplified the feeling of helplessness, of randomness. A traditional onryō story is often a tragedy of injustice. Another is more a tragedy of existential dread. And that makes its message incredibly potent for us today, grappling with these big, faceless, systemic fears.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive. It's clear. Another is so much more than just shock value horror. It's this really smart deconstruction of the onryō myth, turning that personal, vengeful spirit into this impersonal, systemic thing. And as we've unpacked, this whole deep dive shows how you can take ancient myths and totally reforge them to explore very modern anxieties. Social paranoia, collective memory failing us, that dread of random tragedy.
By flipping those traditional rituals on their head, creating this rule-based horror, it really does hold up a mirror to how we deal with death, memory, those unseen systems in our own lives.
It really makes you wonder, how many Misakis, these unresolved things, are we kind of collectively pretending aren't there in our own world? What other stories, old or new, tap into similar hidden fears? Lots to think about. Definitely check out another if you haven't, or maybe explore some more Japanese folklore. It's fascinating stuff. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.